Tonight was the last pay-per-view of 2015, and the WWE has a lot to work on. Tonight, in our very own backyard of New England, Boston, Massachusetts, and the TD Garden, the new cathedral of Boston sports, this was their moment to shine. This was their moment to rise up, and with a depleted roster and with skepticism of what could be leading into 2016, tonight the WWE was at their breaking point, their crossroads. Did they deliver? Did they knock it out of the park? You will find out in this next hour. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael Flecha, and we welcome you to the recap of Tables, Ladders, and Chairs as we witnessed it right here on the WWE Network. I am, as always, joined by my fellow compadres, ridiculously over Anthony Florio, the Phenom, Michael Bullock of the Wrestling Forum, and gentlemen, it is time. Let's go to work. We had a pre-show fight, which was Becky Lynch going one-on-one with Boston's own, the boss, Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks won that match, so we're going to dive right in to the main card. And with that said, the first fight of the night is for the WWE Tag Team Championship, as it was contested in a ladder match. It was the Usos versus the Lucha Dragons versus the reigning, defending, undisputed World Wrestling Entertainment Tag Team Champions. Oh, New England, do not be sour. Clap for your reigning champions and feel the power of the New Day, the winners of the bout, the team that retrieved the belts, and still the WWE Tag Team Champions. It was indeed the New Day. Kofi Kingston claims the gold. Anthony Florio, you, my friend, lead it off.
As I should. Hello, friends. Ridiculously over Anthony Florio here with you for our TLC Recap edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. Delighted to have you with us as well. I have to say this was the second best fight of the night. I thought there was one that was better. But all I can say was you can't start a show any better than this. I honestly had a hunch this was going to start the show myself, but I wasn't quite sure. But then again, I kind of had a feeling because you always want to get the crowd off to a white-hot start. It was about a 17-minute and 50-second match from when I read the review earlier, but I will say it like this. 4 to 4 1/4 stars, second best fight of the night. The spots were just absolutely wow. And then the one spot, the sickest spot I have ever seen in all my years of watching and covering professional wrestling. Kalisto of the Lucha Dragons with a De La Soul on one of the Usos there. Oh my goodness! If we were doing the commentary, Michael Flecha would have let out the biggest "Oh my God" that he's ever let out. I mean, oh my God, he would have lost his mind if we had done the commentary on that. The crowd in Boston lost their mind. The commentators lost their mind. We all lost our mind. That is the sickest spot I have ever seen. I mean, I've seen a lot of sick spots. I've seen when Elix Skipper walked the tightrope, walked the 6 Sides of Steel in TNA and did that Hurricane in that unforgettable 5-star 6 Sides of Steel match with Triple X in AMW back in '04. I mean, that was one of the sickest spots I thought that was the sickest spot I had seen. And I had thought that for the last 11 years. Well, for many years. And then we saw Seth Rollins, when Seth Rollins took that bump 3 years ago at this event during that 6-man TLC match with the Shield against Ryback and Bryan and Kane. But that spot tonight, that De La Soul by Kalisto on the Uso there, I can honestly say on this night that was far and away the most sickest spot I have ever seen in the history of professional wrestling, my friends. That's all I can say. You may have seen some. I'm sure you guys have seen sicker spots, but for me, that was the sickest spot I had ever seen. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about that for many years to come. You can believe that. But I thought one other, I was gonna call this the fight of the night, but then one other match, especially the post match of that particular match, blew me away so unbelievably, that I can only give this the second best fight of the night honors. I would have given it 4.5, but we did get we got that little clunky finish there because of Xavier Woods using the damn trombone. But what else is new? But I'm going to give it between 4 to 4.25 stars. That I honestly feel is the correct rating for this fight. You can't go any lower than that. The body of work was tremendous. The C'est La Soul, that's going to be remembered forever. So, oh my goodness, unbelievable. That's all I can say. Great match. Not at all surprised with the outcome. You knew New Day was going over, so that was pretty much all there is. So, 4 to 4.25 stars. Second best fight of the night, which featured the sickest spot in the history of professional wrestling. You heard it here first. Michael Bullock, Phenom. You know I gotta ask. You know the question I'm about to ask you. I've asked this to you so many times, I've lost count. Add another one to the record book. How do you follow that? My gosh.
I don't even know how I can even follow that. Well, first off, hello friends. This is the Phenom, Mike Bullock here for our TLC Recap edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. I do agree this was the second best fight of the night, and I'm going to give it an even 4 stars. I mean, the action in this match was just so good. I mean, all the high flying, all the ladders that were being used in the match, and including that 6th spot in the end with the Kalisto in the Salada del Sol, the top of the ladder to one of the Usos and basically landing on it. I mean, going right to the ladder. I was like, as I was watching this, I was like, holy crap! I mean, I seen some 6 spots before, but this one definitely took the cake right here. The Usos were. The Usos actually, one of the Usos bounces back. Looked like they were going to be on their way to winning the title, but once again, Xavier Woods had to stick his nose where it didn't belong, and using that. Well, actually, it was Kalisto who it was that was on top. Looked like they were going to win the titles for the Luchas, but like I said, that Xavier Woods stick nose where it didn't belong, using that damn trombone, and Kofi tosses them off, grabs the titles, and they are still the champs. We knew the Day was going to retain the titles, and I just had this feeling that Xavier Woods was going to interfere in the match. So if it weren't for that, I would have given it 4.25, maybe 4.5 stars. But because of that clunky finish, 4 stars is my rating. So heck, I could have gone. Well, actually, to me, the correct rating is 3.75 to 4 stars. Is my rating. So with being said, Flecha, I give it to you.
You know what? I'm gonna have to partially disagree with you, Michael Bullock, because I think 3.75 doesn't. It's not there. 4 stars is definitely the correct rating. Anthony. I think 4.25 is a little too high, because I know you said 4 to 4.25. I understand that, but I don't think it was a 4.25 level. I have to disagree with Michael Bullock on the fact that there was nothing. You can't say 3.75. I can't give you there. I know you're trying to average it out, but I don't think you need to average this. This was 4 stars, period. End of quotation, end of statement. This fight was absolutely incredible, and the crowd in Boston ate it up. And the great chemistry of all three teams. And yeah, that Salias de Sol off the top of the ladder through a bridging ladder, yeah, that's a highlight reel that's gonna be talked about for years to come. Everybody's gonna be talking about that particular moment. That's an oh my god moment of the year, and I think that if we had a category for that, this would practically become the front runner to win that award, and I think it would win the award. I don't think there's nothing better to out top that. The match was absolutely amazing. It got 17 minutes and 56 seconds. That's to confirm Anthony's thoughts on that. And the match itself just had so many different layers and elements, and the chain wrestling, the stories that were being brought. And yes, I understand a lot of people are going to be a little upset because of the fact of the finish, with Xavier Woods throwing the trombone, halting the process. That gives Kofi enough time to climb the ladder, retrieve the belt, and thus capture the WWE Tag Team titles. But here's the thing. We all know why the fans love the New Day, because of their antics, because of that trombone thing. They are probably one of the most overheeled teams right now in WWE. And here's the thing. Right now, WWE is, like I said, there's a very depleted roster. They really don't have much to work with on this end. And at the end of the day, they need some legitimacy in certain areas so that they can say, hey, this is what's going on, this is where we're at, and you can definitely come and bridge and stay with us, because that's the thing. Especially if you've noticed, Monday Night Raw's ratings are at almost an all-time low. Last week they had the lowest rating in almost the entire history of WWE Monday Night Raw. And this dates back all the way to almost 1993. I think it's January 26, 1993, Anthony? Am I wrong about that? Or am I right around that?
The exact day when Monday Night Raw debuted?
Yes.
It was January the 11th of 1993 at the Manhattan Center, the Hammerstein Ballroom as it is now.
Okay, well, I was just trying to go for the date. I didn't need the little extra fluff. But what I'm trying to say is they had the lowest ratings since the creation of Monday Night Raw back in 93, which was a 2.24. That is bad. I mean, you want to talk about woefully bad? That was horrible. Worst ratings ever for Monday Night Raw. So they need something to lift them up. So why not push the New Day? IWC loves them. They're one of the most over teams right now in WWE today. So I understand why they did it. I understand how they did it. I think the execution was not bad. I'm not going to fault them for that. So they delivered in everything that they needed to deliver, and that's why we got such a great start to this TLC pay-per-view. All right, guys, so next up we had was Ryback versus Rusev, a member of the League of Nations, accompanied by his soon-to-be wife, fiancée, the ravishing Russian Lana. The winner of the bout was Rusev. He slapped the accolade on Ryback. 8 minutes and 7 seconds is the official time of the fall. And Michael Bullock, you lead off, my friend. What do you say?
Well, I can say is this was probably a cool-down match after what we saw with the triple threat tag team ladder match, and I'm gonna say 1.25 to 1.5 stars is my rating for the match. I mean, the match was all right, but I really wasn't that into the match. But I mean, it was there for what it was, and of course we had a little bit of chicanery outside when obviously it looked like Ryback hit Lana again, and then all of a sudden
Bullock, are you there? Oh, it looks like we okay. So let me just recap it. I'll set it up and then we'll yeah. Bullock, are you there? No, we lost him. All right. So for the time being, it's going to be myself and Florio.
No, he's back.
Okay.
Can you
Bullock,
hear
are
me
you
now?
Bullock?
Oh yeah, I'm in.
All
All right.
right, then continue with what you're thinking. Your thoughts.
Oh, all right, yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, with Lana was basically fake that it looked like she got hurt again, and then that's what, like I said, allowed Rusev to capitalize and eventually slap on the accolade in the ring. So yeah, I mean, the match was there, so it wasn't overly special. 1.25 to 1.5 stars is my rating. So, Fletcher, I give it to you.
You know what? I could actually say this could be a little bit of a two-star fight, even though I think a lot of people will agree with Michael Bullock on the 1.25, 1.5. I think this could be easily be a little bit of a two. Yes, I know there was only 8 minutes and 7 seconds of the fight, which is kind of relatively short, especially after we saw an almost 20-minute match. It was over 17 minutes of the ladder match for the tag team titles. And like you said, this was a legitimate cool down fight. So there's no doubt about it. I'm not going to argue that. Um, this, though, had a decent little story. And I think that, normally when you get these big man fights, you're thinking, oh boy, this is not going to be good. But I kind of felt like it, it satisfied us in a way where we could say, okay, let's collect our breath. We're kind of a little bit on the whoa side right now because of how intense that first fight was. So I'm actually gonna reward them maybe a little higher than maybe Anthony does, or maybe Michael Bullock does, or even Derek Ferreira when he does his sports blog on sportsblog.com either later tonight or sometime tomorrow. But I'm gonna give it for what it's worth. 2 stars is my rating. Anthony, here's that age old question. Myself and Bullock both disagree on ratings. Who do you go with?
You know I don't like being in this position, but nonetheless, I'm in it again, so I'll make the most of it. It's a tough one. It's very close, but I have 7 minutes and 55 seconds as the official time of the fall on my end here. Um, I think for this one time, I'm gonna have to go with Michael Flecha on this one, Bullock. All due respect, of course. I'm gonna put my own little spin on it. I'm gonna give it between 1.5 and 2 stars, and I would have to say by default, this was the worst fight of the night, obviously, because of the loaded body of work of the other matches. But I mean, the match was not remotely bad. It was just that it's only because of the body of work of the matches that followed this and of course the tag team title match, which was unreal. But this was definitely by default only the worst fight of the night. 1.5 and 2 stars. I mean, yeah, it was slow and boring at first, a little snoozy at the start, but then it got good towards the end, and of course you knew there was going to be another angle with Lana there. You knew that was coming. I kind of had a feeling that was coming myself, but I'm not at all surprised Rusev went over. So we'll see what happens now. What's next for Rusev? So I don't know. We'll see. So 7:55, the time of the fall. 17:50 for the tag title ladder match. So this was 1.5 and 2 stars. And even though the match was not all that remotely bad, it is, however, by default, keyword default, the worst fight of the night. So there's nothing left to say here, Fletch. Let's just move on to our next match.
Very well, and we're going to get right into that. And it's a chairs match for the United States Heavyweight Championship. The reigning champion, Alberto Del Rio, puts the title on the line against the All-American Jack Swagger, the winner of the bout, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, Alberto Del Rio. And he did an epic finish here. he put Swagger away with a double foot stomp into a pile of chairs. Oh my God! For heaven's sake, does the Warriors way to put him to finish him off and win the match at 11, well, unofficially on my card, 11 minutes and 23 seconds. This was according to 411mania.com, my little Bible of professional wrestling. So big shout out to them and the work that they've done tonight. And I gotta say this is somewhere around 2 3/4 to 3 stars. I mean, I thought this was an entertaining U.S. title fight, to say the very least. I really enjoyed the body of work. Definitely, we looked at possibly Jack Swagger had a moment. He did lock in the Patriot Lock. It looked like he was about to win the United States Heavyweight Championship, but Del Rio was able to counter out of it, use the steel chair as a weapon, and that's the beauty of a chairs fight. When you use the chairs, everything is legal, and they definitely used the chair to their advantage in this fight. And then, like I said, the unbelievable ending of Del Rio piling chairs under Swagger, then does the Warriors way, the double foot stomp to get the 1-2-3 to win the match and successfully defend the United States Heavyweight Championship. Bravo to these guys. 2 3/4 to 3 stars is my rating for the match. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Well, you go on 401 Mania, which is a great site. I go by ProWrestling.net, and our good friend Jason Powell, by the way. Shout out to him. 11 minutes and 15. It's 11 minutes and 15 seconds on my end there, Flat. A little 8-second difference, but nonetheless, though, I'm going to give it between 2.5 to 3 stars. Yes, that is the correct rating for this bout. I definitely agree. I'll even go as far as to say sleeper fight of the night. I mean, usually when you think chairs match, you're usually thinking, oh, chairs match. Oh yeah, this is going to be good. Yeah, right. Usually going to be more on the meh side of things. But I can honestly say it's the best chairs match I've seen at a TLC event since the John Cena Wade Barrett match in 2010 at this event. Of course, the best chairs match was when Dave Bautista and The Undertaker squared off in the very first TLC event in 2009 for the World Heavyweight Championship, which, of course, The Undertaker went over, obviously, as everybody remembers. So, but I can honestly say this goes into the top 3 when it comes to, I say it was probably the 3rd best chairs match in the history of the TLC event. And 11 minutes and 15 seconds. I mean, some good near falls, some good action here. A smidge of Shakespearean drama here, a little bit, not a whole lot, but there was a little bit of it. Of course, that opening match obviously had a whole ton of it at its absolute finest, and the main event too. But this here, 2.5 to 3 stars is definitely the correct rating. No Zeb Coulter, so I don't know what's going on with that. I think that maybe Zeb is done for now, I guess. And of course, Del Rio can now fully commit, obviously, to the newly formed League of Nations. So, and believe me, we're gonna have something to say about the League of Nations a little bit later. But for right now, sleeper fight of the night, 2.5 to 3 stars. Pleasantly surprised by how this match turned out. I wasn't expecting anything good, but they pleasantly surprised me. It was almost like their WrestleMania bout all over again, which was about the same rating. So good work, solid work from Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger. Good job, guys. Sleeper fight of the night. You guys should be proud. So 2.5 and 3 stars is the rating for this. So Michael Bullock, this U.S. Heavyweight Chairs match, did it surprise you like it surprised us?
Yeah, it certainly did surprise me. I mean, I thought it was just going to be another one of those meh chair fights, or chair matches, I should say. But no, this actually turned out even much better than what I expected. And I'll agree, it is 2.5 to 3 stars, and it is the sleeper fight of the night. And I loved how that Del Rio used that new finishing maneuver of his right on those chairs. I was like, oh my gosh, that has got to hurt with that. And I even liked it when Jack Swagger use the Patriot lock with the chair on Del Rio's ankle. So yeah, great job by both of these men. They really did a good job in this match and made it something for everyone to enjoy. So 2.5 to 3 stars. So with that being said, Fletch, let's move on to the next match and on TLC.
All right, indeed. And the next fight that we had in the TLC pay-per-view was the 8-man elimination tables match. It was the ECW Originals, the Dudley Boys, Rhino, and the Innovator of Violence, Tommy Dreamer, versus the Wyatt family, Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and the leader, Bray Wyatt. The winners of this match was the Wyatt family, as basically it was Braun Strowman putting away Bubba Ray Dudley as the last member of the ECW Originals. And Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Another 2.5 to 3 stars for the effort here. 12 minutes and 35 seconds, the time of the fall I have on this. Yeah, I was honestly expecting a little bit more from this fight. I thought it had the potential to be something even more special, but Wyatt's went over. I'm not at all surprised. Eric Rowan, the only member eliminated. He was eliminated via 3D, but then it was all Wyatt family after that, where Rhino got gored. He was put through a table thanks to a big boot by Luke Harper, and then Devon got put through a table by one of those hard slams by Bray Wyatt, one of those throwdown slams. So that took care of Devon, and then Dreamer ended up going through a table at ringside after Luke Harper dove off the ring apron and crashed through Tommy Dreamer, and then of course Bubba going through the table thanks to Braun Strowman. So I'll say it like this: Braun Strowman continues to impress me. You guys know how very high I am on his work. You all know that. I'm just as high on him as WWE is, honestly. But just goes to show you he is a freak. And I'm going to tell you right now, in 2016, I think Braun Strowman is going to have a breakout year. You heard that here first. I strongly believe it. Is he going to win any championships? Well, maybe not, but I think he's definitely going to have a big year. I can see him doing some big things in 2016. I can believe that. And couple things, like I said, I thought this had the potential to be something really special, given the nature of the match and how it was built. But there were two things that could have really been special if they had obviously had delivered it. We saw a couple of vintage ECW moments during this match. And Michael Flecha, I know Michael Flecha will attest to these because we all know how big of an ECW old school mark he is. Him and Derek Ferrera. The cheese grater. What was up with that? The cheese grater, yeah. Tommy Dreamer pulls out a cheese grater. And I remember in the old days of ECW, the cheese grater spot was always very, very vicious. And I know Fletcher can tell us that. But I suppose I could let the cheese grater spot go, but the one thing that I don't think any of us can let go, especially Fletch, we came this close to having a flaming table moment. Ugh. The fuel was there. The fuel, Bubba, he soaked the table in the fluid. But before he could light it, Bray Wyatt got to him, and then that opened the door for Strowman to viciously put him through the table, and that was all she wrote right there. So Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, the survivors, this pseudo Survivor Series match, all at tables. It was a very good match. It was a fun match for what it was. I just wish we could have had more, especially the flaming table spot. That would have been a mark out moment right there. That would have made that C'est la Soul moment from earlier in the night look like absolutely nothing. So that's all I can say about that. So I was fine. I mean, the match was fine. It's just that, and it was fine for what it was. It was good for what it was. Some good spots, but I think it could have been a little. I think there could have been something more. So 2.5 to 3 stars is the rating for this. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this 8-man elimination tables matchup in 12 minutes and 35 seconds?
Yeah, I do agree. It is about another 2.5 to 3 star rating for the match here. So, yeah, I mean, I was expecting a little bit more when it comes to this, but you know what? It was fine for what it was. And yeah, Eric Rowan was the only member of the Wyatt family who was eliminated. But then after that, the Wyatt family, I mean, just absolutely dominated the rest of the match. And yes, I mean, I still can't get out of my head with Tommy Dreamer pulling out that cheese grater and basically low blowing Braun Strowman with that. And yes, we were this close to having a flaming table. And I'll tell you what, guys, if that had happened, and if Mimi Jean was back up right now, you know that's not PG. Mimi would be up and be like, flaming tables at a pay-per-view? That's not PG. So we came close to having it, but Bray Wyatt prevented it from happening, and that's what led to Braun Strowman putting Bubba Ray through the table and getting the win. So yeah, I've been very impressed with Braun Strowman, and who knows, maybe one day Strowman could be champion. Maybe not the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but maybe a United States champion, maybe an Intercontinental champion. I don't know. We'll definitely wait and see what 2016 has in store for him. So 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating for the match. So with that being said, Flecha, it's yours.
Oh my goodness, where do I begin with this fight? Alright, it started out really hot. There's no doubt about it. And it definitely had its moments where, we saw a lot of that classic battle, back and forth, everything else. And I know Anthony wants me so badly to get into this ECW thing, so I'm gonna get into it right now, and I'm gonna let you know about it. First off, let's talk about the cheese grater moment. When Tommy Dreamer brought the cheese grater, and here's the thing, he went after Braun Strowman's nuts. He went for the groin. He went down there. He went south of the border. That is absolutely ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Because like Anthony said, back in the day, and I think there was many guys who actually did it. Sandman actually brought the cheese grater out. I think Sabu did it a few times in his day. I know Dreamer definitely did it. I think he did it on Raven a couple of times. He did the cheese grater in the head, and yeah, the minute you get the cheese grater in the head, you're split open. Like, you go Crimson Mask in no time. You start bleeding pretty profusely. So I understand that it was kind of, once again, one of those things where they're kind of trying to shed a little bit of that. I don't know how we're gonna say this. They were trying to shed away the PG-ness of that fight. They wanted it to bring it into a more extreme element. They were trying to bring it into a more hardcore type fight, which is more than fine. Because for TLC, this is one event where you could probably throw the rule book out the window and let free rangers go run amok. Let the inmates run the asylum for all I care. Um, then of course we all remember, and then of course what is a staple of the Dudley Boys in ECW? Yes, they used to put people through tables, but in ECW they took the violence further. They did the flaming table, and trust me, there was quite a few guys that paid the ultimate price and went through a flaming table, including Spike Dudley, after he basically disagreed with Bubba over something. I think he just basically didn't like what Bubba was doing with one of the rivalries, and basically Bubba got pissed off, slapped Spike around. The flaming table came out, and Spike went lawn dart. He basically got tossed into the flames, and yeah. So I mean, it is definitely a staple of ECW, and a lot of people have really talked about certain things, and I love that they brought that back to WWE, because sometimes you need that shot in the arm once in a rare while. So I definitely liked it. It had a great amount of time. The storyline was actually really good, so it delivered on so many levels that it made me feel, wow, this is actually a good fight. I enjoyed it. I liked it. So kudos to WWE, and kudos to the 8 men in that match. And we're going to go right into the next fight. This match was for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Kevin Owens, goes up against the challenger, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, the winner of the bout. And no! Intercontinental Champion, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. He is the champion. He wins the title tonight. Michael Bullock, you lead off.
Man, oh man, I mean, this was something I didn't expect. I mean, I was expecting Kevin Owens to retain the title, but hey, Dean Ambrose does it. He wins the Intercontinental title, and I'm gonna give it 3 to maybe 3.25 stars as my rating for the match. I mean, it was good, but the action here was good, but I mean, Dean Ambrose won with a somewhat of a reversing the pop-up power bomb, but I love this match. I mean, the body of work was there. It's just that it was just a little too short for my liking. I mean, I would have loved to see more out of these guys, but hey, congratulations to Dean Ambrose, the new Intercontinental Champion. And I'll tell you what, I gotta give credit to someone here on the panel who made the prediction, and that was, of course, ridiculously over Anthony Florio. He was the one when we when we did our preview last night. He said that that Dean Ambrose was going to become the new Intercontinental Champion, while I went with Kevin Owens, and lo and behold, ridiculously over Anthony Florio was right. So I'm definitely throwing up right up at you, my man. So, but yeah, so and I think now we know, because of this, we're going to get a rematch between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental title. Could it happen tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw? Could we maybe see it at the Royal Rumble? I don't think the Royal Rumble, since about another month, since we're about a month away from that. So we'll wait and see what happens. But we know we're going to get another match between these two. So 3 to maybe 3.25 stars. I really wanted to see a little bit more from this match. So with that being said, Fletch, I give it to you. And congratulations to Dean Ambrose on becoming the Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, indeed. I mean, first off, we got to give it up to Dean Ambrose. He is the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And I'll tell you one thing, the IWC went absolutely bonkers when that happened. Crowd went nuts in Boston. They're absolutely thrilled with the outcome. I know there's a few super fans out there, from Dee Woodson to Kevin Woodson. We don't know about Ward. I know Ferrera was absolute. From what I'm heard, Derek Ferrera was absolutely thrilled with the outcome because two IWC guys, but I think he definitely would be all over that. I know Megan Silva will probably be very happy. Bill McConnell, Jimmy Silva, newer members of our super fans. I don't know about Daniel Luttrell. We haven't heard about him in a while. Hopefully, we'll get to hear from him. But I can't say nothing bad. This was almost a 10-minute match. Unofficially 9:56 on the 411 Mania. Anthony will probably counter it with something relatively close on the ProWrestling.net. We'll find that out in a matter of minutes. But Michael Bullock, I gotta disagree with you on this one. I gotta give this at least 3.5 stars. I thought this was an amazing match. Yes, I understand the finish was kind of a little wonky because it went from a pop-up power bomb countered into a reverse victory roll for the 1-2-3, and I get that, but the match itself. This is what you wanted to see in an Intercontinental title fight, and this is what we were expecting and hoping for to see in a match between Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose. These two guys are IWC darlings. Kevin Steen, John Moxley. Sorry if I butchered the name. But I mean, this was as epic as it could have been, and the fans in Boston ate this up. So I have to disagree with Michael Bullock's sentiment. I got to give this a firm and full 3.5 star fight, and this was definitely one of the top fights of the night, at least in my eyes. I just have to say, wow, 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 wow! Great job by both men. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, another tough spot for me to be in. What was the time on your end, Fletch, on a 411 Mania? What did you have on yours?
9 minutes and 56 seconds.
9 minutes 55 seconds. How about that? So right about the same. But yeah, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I definitely agree with that rating. It's another one of the fights of the night. A very entertaining match that the live crowd was hot for. Worked out nicely because the live crowd had seen all heels. Notice, all heels had gone over before that. And I said to myself going into that match, we haven't seen a babyface win tonight. And it was right at that particular moment that I had that feeling in my gut that Ambrose was going over. And the reason why I went with Ambrose last night when I did the preview show with Bullock is, because he beat him at Survivor Series. And we all know how high on the totem pole Ambrose is right now. I mean, Ambrose is one of the most over guys in the company, and Owens had a near 3-month run with the IC belt, which was fine for what it was. At least he got a good run with it, which I'm glad he did. I'm glad it wasn't one of those transitional runs, but thankfully he did that, and yeah, now you got the Lunatic Fringe as the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. I mean, you knew you knew we wouldn't have an all heel winning tonight. You knew we weren't going to have all heels go over here. It was just a matter of time before a babyface would go over, and I'm not at all surprised that this particular one went over. I mean, it's nice to see Ambrose and his fans get rewarded. I mean, the diehard Ambrose fans. I mean, Ambrose celebrating with the crowd after he won the belt, which was great. He wins it with the Dirty Deeds. I mean, just about a 10-minute match. Almost a carbon copy of the Survivor Series match, although I think this one was just a smidgen better. Owens cut a nice promo before the match, ripping on Boston fans and ripping on Ambrose. Obviously, a great promo from Owens before the match. The fight was great, and it's another one of the fights of the night. Probably right around the third or fourth best fight of the night, as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, the Ambrose fans, the Ambrose Asylum, they finally get their moment. Although this is Ambrose's second title that he's won. Of course, he was the United States Heavyweight Champion. He won that 2.5 years ago, 2013 Extreme Rules in St. Louis when he defeated Kofi Kingston. Held it for almost a year before he lost it in that Battle Royal, which Sheamus won, as we all remember, the night after Extreme Rules, 2013, May the 5th, or I should say 2014, rather. The only question I have is now that Kevin Owens has lost the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, how is he going to be booked on Monday Night Raw? Good question. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not lost in the shuffle booking. Hopefully, they'll continue to book him, as one of the key cogs in WWE right now. So that's all there is to it. So 3.25 to 3.5 stars, right around third. I could probably say third best fight of the night, in all honesty. So with that said, Fletch, I believe it's time for some Hot Divas action. Am I right?
It is indeed, and it is for the WWE Divas Championship. The reigning champion is Charlotte Flair. She puts the title on the line against Paige, and this time around, we had the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, in the corner of his lovely daughter, the winner of the bout, and still the WWE Divas Champion, Charlotte Flair. I get to lead off on this one. Okay. Unofficially on my watch, I got 10 minutes and 39 seconds. That normally constitutes a good match and a good diva fight too. So I can actually give this between maybe 2.5 stars. Solid fight, good match. They were going back and forth throughout the match, but you saw what happened. It looked like Paige hits the Rampage. She gets the 1-2. Ric Flair puts the foot on the rope. That basically puts, Paige does not win the belt at that point. And then you started to see it. A little bit of the dirtiest player in the game coming in. Flair starts tugging, pulling, trying to get the turnbuckle pad off. Charlotte removes it completely, and then wham, face first right into the exposed steel of the turnbuckle. Charlotte goes for the cover, gets the 1-2-3. It is it's a dirty victory, it's a tainted victory, but remember, and Anthony Florio, you know this one better than anybody else. There's two sayings we always used to do. In the immortal words of Jesse the Body Ventura, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. And to the late Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, and steal. And that's what Charlotte did here tonight. The 2.5 stars is my rating. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Time of the fall on my end was 12 minutes and 45 seconds. That's how I have it. And I got to disagree with your rating, Fletch. I'm going to go a little bit higher on this. I'm going to give it between two. And once again, this has been a theme of the night so far. I'm going to give it between 2.5 and 3 stars. I thought this was a very good Divas matchup here. I could probably say 4th or 5th best fight of the night. I mean, because there was some good action in this one. We had some good near falls in this one. Ric Flair was utilized perfectly. And I think we're on the verge of a Charlotte heel turn here. And I think we pretty much cemented it right here. I mean, Ric Flair and Charlotte as a father-daughter heel duo has so much potential. It hurts, and I love it. I honestly love it. I mean, we just need some viable baby faces to get up there now. Becky Lynch, hello. Especially, that's right. She went down to Sasha tonight. That's right. But there was a backstage moment afterwards with Becky Lynch confronting Charlotte and Ric Flair, and there's definitely. I mean, you already know. I think it's clear as day that they're definitely working on a program with a potential program with Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Which I think, if it does happen, I think it could go down at the Royal Rumble. I really can. I really do see that. But But Sasha Banks, we obviously have to figure her into the equation now. And in a way, I'm kind of hoping they're done with the Charlotte and Paige feud right now. And even though the matches were fine, all three of the matches were fine for what they were. They were all really, really good matches. It's just that, and this is one of the reasons why WWE is in so much trouble right now, repetitive booking. You know, they keep giving us the same matches over and over and over and over again. And that's why we constantly piss all over WWE nowadays. That's one of the main reasons why. Not just because they have the same old tired, played-out guys, you know, holding championships and whatnot, Sheamus, but how about fresher feuds in all the divisions, especially the Divas division? So I'm hoping that this is the end of the Charlotte and Paige feud, although I got this weird iffy feeling it's not. But we'll have to, especially after the ending tonight, we'll have to wait and see on that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we can move on to something newer, something fresher. And Charlotte and Becky Lynch, I think, would be a great feud, although, like I said, watch out for Sasha Banks. So I think we're going to get some sort of a Divas title match at the Royal Rumble on January the 24th in Orlando, Florida. And the big question is, will it be Sasha Banks or will it be Becky Lynch? You heard it first. It's going to be one of those two. I strongly believe it. Move on from the Paige feud, and let's get Charlotte a fresh opponent. And like I said, it doesn't matter to me who it is, as long as it's either Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks. That one of those two young ladies should be the next challenger for Charlotte's Divas title, and you book that sucker in Orlando in 6 weeks at the Royal Rumble. Book it. 2.5 to 3 stars, 12-minute, 45-second match, very good match. Everything went off perfectly. Flair was utilized perfectly, and a father-daughter heel combination of Ric Flair and Charlotte. So much stamp potential. And oh, by the way, there's nothing left for me to say except woo! Michael Bullock, how do you follow?
Woo! Yeah. As far as the match goes, I'm gonna meet you guys in the middle and say 2.5 stars. I mean, yeah, it was a good match here, but I mean, like we said, there was a little bit of chicanery. I mean, with the Nature Boy being involved, but yeah, I mean, the match was good, but the chicanery part I thought took a little bit away. But yeah, I do agree. I'm hoping that this is the end of the Charlotte Paige feud, and we can move on to something else. Maybe Becky Lynch. Maybe Sasha Banks are in line for a shot at the Divas title, but we'll wait and see what happens. So there's really nothing more for me to say except 2.5 stars. So that being said, Fletch, it's main event time!
All right, here we go. It don't get no bigger than this. For the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, contested in tables, ladders, and chairs. Sheamus, the reigning champion, puts the title on the line against the #1 contender and former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns, the winner of the bout, and still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion is Sheamus as he retrieves the belt thanks to the help of 2 members of the League of Nations, Rusev and Alberto Del Rio. The numbers game basically became too much for Roman Reigns, and then Roman went ballistic. The angry Samoan blood boiled over, and he went on a rampage. He destroyed Alberto Del Rio, destroys Rusev, destroys Sheamus with multiple chair shots, leading and prompting a whole bunch of referees, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, to come out, the Authority. And what happens next was the most vile and sickening attacks you maybe could ever describe in WWE's history. Roman Reigns basically wears Triple H out with a steel chair, beats the living crap out of him, then does a elbow drop through the Spanish announce table. The son of a bitch. Roman Reigns did that, and then he spears Triple H to basically put the icing on the cake. And through all of that, here's something I never ever thought I would ever hear. The entire IWC chanting, "Thank you, Roman." Whoever would have thought that would be coming out of the IWC's mouths tonight after they were ridiculing him and ripping him to shreds? He finally might have won the IWC over, at least for one night. Anthony Florio, with all that said, you lead off, my friend.
24 minutes and 5 seconds, the time of the fall on my end here. It's very simple. This was the fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. This was a fantastic main event. I mean, this match delivered. I said it was going to be the fight of the night going in, and I'm not at all surprised that it ended up delivering. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, the spots were unbelievable. The crowd was into it. I mean, yeah, it might have been slow early in some spots, but no. I mean, the match was well worked. It was absolutely perfect, and you definitely had a feel of Shakespearean drama in this matchup here. You know how much we love Shakespearean drama. All of us here at the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, obviously, but excuse me there. But nonetheless, I mean, fantastic main event, and of course the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, we all knew that Sheamus was going over. That was clear as day. We all knew that. But man, oh man, I mean, didn't I call League of Nations interference last night? I said there was going to be some League of Nations interference. I told you there would be. The only difference is, where was Barrett? That's my only question. Where was King Barrett? But then again, when it comes to the Roman Reigns side, where were Dean Ambrose and the Usos? I thought for damn sure they were going to get involved. I was waiting for it. I was saying, where are you, Usos? Where are you, Ambrose? But no. No interference from Ambrose or the Usos, and heck, no interference from Barrett, which is very surprising. It was only Rusev and Alberto Del Rio who got involved and helped Sheamus go over. Another reason why I'm giving this between 4.25 to 4.5 stars, not just because of the overall body of work of the match. No, I'm gonna include the post match in this. I can honestly say that was one of the most entertaining and fun post matches that I've seen in a long time. You know, Roman Reigns going off, not just on the League of Nations, but he went off on the game himself. He went off on the Cerebral Assassin. Yes, the seeds are being planted for WrestleMania. You know it's going to be Roman Reigns against Triple H at WrestleMania 32. I think this pretty much spearheaded it right here. Michael Bullock, with all due respect, screw the bold prediction for tomorrow night. I'm going to give it to you right here and now. You want a bold prediction? I'm going to give one to you right now. Bullock and I, for those of you who may not know, Michael Bullock and I do, we have our pre-Monday Night Raw, we talk about, we not only do the pre-show for Raw, we actually also get into the show itself. And towards the end of the pre-show, they do what's called the bold prediction. And I'm not going to wait until tomorrow night. I'm just going to give it to you right here and now. And Fletcher, you're going to hear this too. I don't think we're going to see Triple H tomorrow night. I think they're going to have him sell the wounds from the injuries there, sell the beating that Roman Reigns inflicted upon him tonight. And I think that Stephanie McMahon we're gonna start the show with this angle. We're gonna start it off in Philadelphia tomorrow night. We're gonna start it off with this angle, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get Stephanie out there and she addresses this whole thing and they do something with Roman Reigns. They could say Roman Reigns is fired. They could do a fired angle. They could do some dramatic angle. But nonetheless, there have been many rumors. A lot of dirt sheets have, gone on rumors saying that we're going to see. There was a possibility of a Roman Reigns versus Triple H match at WrestleMania 32. I say it's no longer a possibility. I think it's going to happen now. I really do, especially after what we witnessed here tonight. So I don't expect to see Triple H tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. I think they're going to have him, sell the beating that Roman Reigns inflicted on him tonight. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable. That crowd was as white hot as you can get. And for at least this night, I think Roman Reigns has definitely become, for at least one night, Roman Reigns is an IWC darling. For at least this night, after what he did to the game tonight. So, so that's all there is to say about that. The match itself was just phenomenal. Great spots throughout. Both men busted their asses off. But then again, that was the theme of the night. Everybody busted their asses tonight when it comes to this event. But this match in particular, just the spots in this match, the Shakespearean drama in this match, especially towards the end when we all thought, hey, maybe Roman's actually going to do it here. Maybe Roman's actually going to win the belt, and Sheamus is going to be a transitional champion. Nah. But yeah, 4.25 to 4.5 stars. It's the fight of the night, and I can honestly say definitely one of the best TLC matches I've ever seen. I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. So that's all I can give it on that. And that post match really put it over the top for me. Phenomenal. So with all that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this epic TLC main event?
Yeah, this was definitely a fight of the night. I'm going to say 4.25 stars as well. I mean, this was everything what we expected in this match. And, I mean, the back and forth, the Shakespearean drama, and yes, we did get interference from the League of Nations, but it was only Alberto Del Rio and Rusev. But yeah, I mean, all the 6 spots with the chairs being used, the tables being used, and with the League of Nations interfering, that eventually helped Roman Reigns. That helped basically get Sheamus to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and then the post match. Whew. Man, I mean, Roman Reigns, he basically went ballistic in a big way. I mean, attacking those members of the League of Nations, with a spear and chair shots, and this prompted the referees and the authority to come out, and Triple H was basically trying to reason with Roman Reigns, and then afterwards, Roman Reigns started beating the crap out of Triple H with chair shot after chair shot after chair shot, and then power bombing him onto the Spanish announce table, and then an elbow drop onto the Spanish announce table, breaking it. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, man, Fletch is probably pulling his hair. Why the Spanish announce table? And then you thought that was enough? Nope. Roman Reigns came in with a thunderous spear on Triple H. So, and yeah, I mean, after seeing all that, I think it's definitely going to be leading to a Triple H Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania 32, and I think they're going to start the build towards that tomorrow night. And I think my bold prediction is, I think it's going to start off with Roman Reigns and Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie's probably going to either fire or suspend Roman Reigns, and that's how this whole build for the match is going to start. So, yeah, so 4.25 stars, fight of the night. So, Flecha, your thoughts on this match and this violent beatdown that Roman Reigns put on your man Triple H?
you know what? I gotta say this. This was what they needed. And I understand why they did it, but sometimes you need that evil to just grab you by the throat and say, you know what? Bleep this crud. And that's what Roman Reigns did. You can only go as far as you can go. There's a little bit of that leash that you it gets to a point where it's like in life. You can only take so much crap before you go into meltdown mode, and Roman went there tonight. He was, time after time trying to chase, trying to get an opportunity at the title, getting so close, and now the League of Nations costs him the title. It got to the point where a Roman just said, enough is enough. F this stuff. I'm going off. And boy, did he do it. Great match, great main event, no doubt about it. Fight of the night, 4 to 4.25 stars. I agree with that, gentlemen. But what Roman did next, I understand where a lot of people are like, that's going to be a little bit unforgivable, and the wrestling purists are going to say that's unforgivable. But in IWC, maybe this is hints that maybe Roman's like, you know what? Enough is enough. Screw you all. If I'm going to have to make it my own path, then I'm going to do it. And if I'm going out, then this is how I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory, and screw you, Triple H. Screw the Authority. Big middle finger in your face. And you know what? That's the Roman Reigns I like to see a little more of. I like to see a Roman Reigns that's a little bit like, you know what? The hell with the Authority. I'm going to do it my own way. And trust me, that's how you're going to win the IWC back. And they did it tonight. He did it tonight when he went off on Triple H and beat the living daylights out of him and made Triple H look like a biatch right before our very eyes. And if that's how you win the IWC back, then so be it. That's what they've been waiting to see John Cena do for a number of years now. And Roman Reigns actually went there. And, he kind of shedded a little bit of that good guy, pretty boy, I'm the golden goose type child. No. That's how the IWC will turn on you in a heartbeat, because they don't want you to be the company's poodle. They don't want you to be the company's kiss ass. What happened here was he rebelled against Authority like he always has done, but this time he took matters into his own hands, and that's why he's getting the praise and the love and everything else. And that's the biggest takeaway. Think about that. Everybody was chanting, "Thank you, Roman." Tell me, in the last year, have you heard any fans it doesn't have to be Boston, Chicago, New York, Miami, Providence, London, Ireland, Australia. Tell me a time where you heard the crowd in one very visible, loud voice chant, "Thank you, Roman." You can't. There's no way. There's no possible reason. Because of the fact that tonight they let Roman get that heel look. And, and he just took a step maybe to revitalize himself. And here's the thing. What will make Roman solidify himself is that he cannot win the Royal Rumble. And that, I think, is basically our way of saying he's not going to win the Royal Rumble this year, because of the fact that it looks like they now have him catered to fight Triple H for WrestleMania 32. And that's probably going to be another good thing for Roman Reigns. By not putting him in that main event picture for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, to take him completely out of it, is probably going to be the best thing that's going to happen to Roman Reigns. Because for that mere reason, Roman Reigns can actually build himself back up to the Roman Reigns that the IWC was embracing for a number of years. For when he was with the Shield, remember, Roman Reigns was becoming the number one guy, and then the WWE creative kind of try to push him to the bell, and that's why people push back and say, "Hey, wait a minute, no, we don't want this." You know, it started when they announced him as Superstar of the Year. They knew they were trying to give him the brass ring, and that's why they revolted on him. Now, tonight, for the first time in a long time, it looks like the IWC is like, oh shit, this was not a side of Roman we've seen before, and we actually like this. This is cool. Now the question becomes, how do you build from tonight? How do you build from the beatdown that they did? WWE, you got now quite a situation on your hands. Now it's try to deliver it and try to emphasize on that, on all of this, and encompass this. And when you do that, that and that alone will revitalize Roman Reigns as a legitimate contender, a legitimate threat, and maybe even win him back to IWC fans. Because tonight you did it. You planted the seeds for a WrestleMania 32 fight. That's one thing. But you also solidified Roman Reigns to the IWC again. You reintroduced them to the IWC, and let me tell you, for tonight and tonight only, they definitely went out and they definitely cheered for him in spades. Now, what happens next is very important. Now, Stephanie will become a very influential player in this one, because Triple H is probably going to have to sit out this next Raw, and who knows if we're going to even see him until Royal Rumble. So many questions, so many answers. Monday Night Raw cannot come soon enough. This has now become a very compelling Monday Night Raw, and we'll wait and see what happens there. Alright guys, overall review, and I believe, Michael Bullock, you lead off on our overall review, so what did you think about tonight's TLC pay-per-view?
I thought this was a solid TLC pay-per-view, and to me, I'm just, somewhere between 8.5 to maybe a 9 out of 10. Even though I'm leaning more towards 8.5, if I'm going to be quite honest. I mean, the only downside of this pay-per-view was, of course, the worst fight of the night being, of course, Ryback and Rusev. I mean, we all expected it to be the worst fight of the night, but I mean, everything else was either good to great. So yeah, I mean, nice job by WWE for putting on a good show. I mean, and what really put it over the top was, of course, the post-match beatdown with Roman Reigns and what he did to Triple H. So I definitely can't wait for Monday Night Raw tomorrow night to see what happens, and as the road to the Royal Rumble begins. So 8.5 to 9 out of 10 is my rating. Flecha, I give it to you.
I thought this was a good pay-per-view, no doubt about it, but I think 8.5 to 9, I think is way too much. I'm sorry, I gotta disagree with that, Michael Bullock. I could say maybe 7.5. I think to go into the 8 or the 9 level, I'm sorry. I think that's kind of a little. I think you're becoming a little bit of a prisoner of the moment type thing, and I'm going to be real blunt with you on that. Yes, there was some solid fights, but there was also some good action. There was also a little bit of some cool down moments too as well. But I think to go 8.5 to 9, I think is way, way, way too high. In my opinion, I can only give this about a 7. I say this was a good pay-per-view, not great. Yes, there was some good action, there's some good matches, but a lot of the matches were really 2.5 stars. I mean, there was a couple that really stood out where you went 3 to 4 realm, but I mean, at the end of the day, I can only give this a good pay-per-view, a solid, passable pay-per-view mark. But I think to go where you went, Mike Bullock, I think is a little too high. So I'm only can give this about a 7 out of 10. And Anthony, it is yours.
I hate to do it, but I got to agree with Fletch again. 7 to 7.5 out of 10 is my rating on this event as well. Even though we had Sheamus and Roman Reigns, which was absolutely phenomenal, that tag team triple threat ladder match, that just, wow. JBL said it best. Somebody called the sheriff. They stole the show. Yeah, indeed they did. And then, of course, rounding out the top 3, you have to go with Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental belt, which was great. And then I'm not sure how to rank the others. I do know the worst fight of the night. There's no doubt about it. It was Ryback and Rusev. That's far and away the worst fight of the night by default, though, even though the actor was fine. 1.5 to 2. And then the other matches, I'm not sure how to rank them. I mean, between 4, 5, and 6, but what we can't, what we have to, we have to say here is that the men and all these men and women tonight, they busted their asses, and you got to give them credit for that. I mean, we definitely have to show them some love and appreciation for all the efforts they put in tonight. I mean, the hard work of this, and Jason Powell said it best, the hard work of all the superstars and divas tonight was what made this show what it was. So I agree with that 100%. So, and that's one of the reasons why I'm giving it the rating that it is. It was a good pay-per-view. It was a solid pay-per-view. Not the greatest, but, I will admit, it had its moments, and of course, the Kalisto Sailor Soul bump on Uso there. That was the bump of the year right there, as far as I'm concerned, and the greatest bump I've ever seen. So, at least we had that tonight. So, 7 to 7.5 out of 10, a solid and good way to close out the pay-per-view calendar of 2015. And now we got to wait for 6 weeks before we do this again. Of course, 6 weeks from tonight, January the 24th, the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, the new arena, if you will, the Royal Rumble. For the second time, the city of Orlando is hosting the Royal Rumble. Of course, 1990 was the other Royal Rumble. We all know how epic that Rumble match ended up. So that's all there is to say on that. So 6 weeks cannot get here fast enough. We cannot wait for the Royal Rumble. And it'll be on that night that we can officially kickstart the road to WrestleMania at Jerry World. Michael Flecha, let's put the ball on this. 7 to 7.5 out of 10.
All right, I just want to confirm one thing, folks. 411 Mania actually just put their official review up, and they actually gave it 7 out of 10 as well. Jason Powell probably did not put one just yet, or we'll wait and see. I know he doesn't really put a number on it, and it's going to also be very compelling to hear what Derek Ferreira says. Definitely check his SLB. Actually his blogspot.com blogspot, and actually his sports blog, I should say. He'll definitely have it up definitely in the next couple of days. And I also want to give a big shout out to a person who's going to be doing, who wants to be also be doing a blog or a podcast in the very near future. Alexandria Calloway. She also was hinting about doing something a la what we do here. So I also want to give her a big shout out, and I would love to have her come on as well, like we've had Dee Dee Woodson, and I know in the past we've had people like Matt Ward actually invade our shows a couple of times in the past. Definitely when Derek Ferrera was the host, and we had it. I believe it was on Ustream.net, I think, or Ustream.tv when we used to do the wrestling forum on there. We used to have him call in, and they actually talked about our show and what we felt about the show and the whole 9 yards. So. With that said, of course, you know the rules. No shout outs for everybody. So we just go right into the future content, which is tomorrow night, the wrestling forum at immediately following Monday Night Raw when it goes off the air. It's going to be on Anthony Florio's The Tone 25. We will recap the fallout from TLC, and we start to look forward to 2016 and, more importantly, the Royal Rumble, as that will be our first event of 2016 as it jumpstarts the road to WrestleMania. My goodness, what will we have and what will happen next? It is going to be very, very interesting, to say the very least. What a night, what an event. Until then, for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Flecha. Thank you for watching this. Please like this video, leave a comment. What was your feelings about TLC? And of course, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the Tone 25. Find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We got all social media outlets. Like the Wrestling Forum page, comment, be a part of our Wrestling Forum page as well, because we will have more content in the very near future. Until then, you know the routine. Hugs and hand pounds. We out. Good night. You've been watching the TLC Recap, a part of the Wrestling Forum on YouTube.com. Have a great evening. So long for